Hi everyone, my name is Brenda Figueroa Arellano, and I'm going to share my research with you today, Latinx Voices of Marin County High School Graduates. And I want to point out before I get started that all of the artwork that you will see in today's presentation was done by me. So I am a first generation scholar. I'm a Marin County High School graduate. Spanish is my first language. I come from a Mexican immigrant family and a Peruvian in-law family. And I'm currently a doctoral student at the University of San Francisco studying racial justice in education. I want to start out with this screenshot of this anonymous Instagram page that I discovered during the time of the pandemic and the Black Lives Matter movement. This Instagram account was calling out instances of racism around Marin County schools, and I was inspired by this Instagram account to look deeper into this topic. So, in 2021, I interviewed 54 Latinx high school graduates from 19 different Marin County high schools. All of these graduates attended between 1996 to 2021. And I reached out to them through social media, such as Instagram, Facebook, or text, and I did not have any funds for this project. So I am so grateful to everyone who shared their time with me to tell me their stories. I wanted to draw where Marin County was within California. As you can see, it is north of San Francisco, connected by the Golden Gate Bridge. And I included some racial demographics of Marin around the time that I completed the study. I wanted to do this because California often has the stereotype of being one of the most liberal and diverse states. However, that is not always the case with all of the counties within California, such as Marin County. Here's a map I drew of Marin County where I put pins so you could kind of see where all of the schools featured in this study are located within Marin. And here is a table of the schools where you can see all of the schools' names as well as what type of schools they were. So I am actually going to skim through the shared experiences that came up throughout this study because I really want to focus today on the recommendations that the students said. But just to give some context, I'm going to go through them really quick. And if you want to read more about any of these experiences, feel free to pause the video and read the slides. I also want to point out that the high school graduates' quotes will be incorporated into this presentation with slides of this color. So, one of the findings was that students who went to diverse schools had very different experiences to those who went to white-dominated schools in Marin. Here's a quote where a student kind of explains how they normalized microaggressions through going to a white-dominated school. Colorism appeared in many different forms throughout the narratives, and also there were a lot of different types of social segregation that a lot of the participants experienced. A lot of them also reported that they did not feel accepted anywhere because they were either called too Latinx or too whitewashed. And here is a quote that kind of shows the pain behind having this identity crisis of not being accepted by either community. A lot of non-Mexican Latinx students were often assumed to be Mexican, and this was apparent in a lot of stories. And here are some of the examples of the things that they were asked or told. And then also a lot of students did respond to racism in many different ways, which are highlighted in this slide. In terms of the type of guidance they got from their schools for what they should do after high school and pursuing more education, public schools gave different advice than private schools. And here I highlight the different things that these graduates did after graduating from high school. Here's a quote from a graduate who decided to stay in Marin and how they mentioned that they do not plan to leave Marin. Okay, so I really wanted to get into the recommendations of what they shared that schools could do right now to make Marin County schools a better learning environment and social environments for Latinx students within these schools. Some suggested having a one-on-one peer tutoring system, and also for detention, having kids help working class school staff to appreciate their labor. Also, there is a need to connect more students to first generation resources and nonprofits. Those who went to private schools said that they wish their schools would recruit more Latinx students and have more scholarships available for them, as well as admitting recent immigrants, since none of them mentioned seeing recent immigrants in their private schools. For school curriculum recommendations, a lot of them wish that schools would have culturally relevant pedagogy, which is teaching what is relatable to the students' lives. They suggested teaching Latinx or Chicanx history and literature, having non-Eurocentric history classes, learning about colonialization from a Native American perspectives, learning about California history before it was the US, learning about geography from all Latin American countries, learning about international economies, having a conversational Spanish class for native speakers, and if they had the opportunity to learn about social movements, activism, and global solidarity to give them hope for a better future. A lot of history is repeating itself when people refuse to learn about the truth. Had the truth been a thing, these political problems we have now, maybe people would feel more empathy towards others. A high school graduate. For electives, a lot wanted to see more hands-on electives, such as auto shop, having boxing clubs, or having a place for athletes to rest, such as a pool. Those who graduated from continuation schools and alternative schools said that they wished other schools invited them to dances, clubs, or sports because their schools did not have a lot of after-school activities and they saw a need for this. For PE classes, they wished that they would incorporate sports from different countries, had a unit on mental health, self-care, and healthy living, and having PE credits available for those who did after-school sports. Immigrant students said that they wish that immigration was taught in a humanizing way in school, such as why people immigrate and how US interference displaces people, and that they had opportunities to share their hardships, dreams, and accomplishments in classrooms. Some wish that the schools would teach indigenous languages such as Quiche, that they could get better college guidance because a lot of them were only supported on how to graduate high school, but not on how to have the requirements to apply to colleges and continue their education. They mentioned that they would like the school to structure activities and opportunities to meet English speaking students because a lot of them did not have opportunities to make friends with English speaking students. They also wished for AP and honors classes that were offered in Spanish other than just Spanish language classes. And for those who are in English as a second language courses, they hoped that schools can provide more bilingual teachers, that they could be placed into relevant English speaking levels, and that they could have bilingual classes for everyone at the school, where English speaking students can also learn Spanish. The education system could have devillainized immigrants in history, the reality of immigration, and not so much the bias, a high school graduate. For school staff recommendations, many wished that there could be a reform in school counseling, such as hiring Spanish-speaking counselors, having queer counseling, having opportunities to discuss mental health, having counselors try to reach out more and try to understand Latinx experiences, and empower Latinidad when kids feel like they have to assimilate. And for teachers, they wish there would be more Latinx teachers who get their students, and one person suggested younger Latinx teachers who understand US born Latinx struggles and are not condescending for their lack of Spanish. So, with that, I just want to end with a few thank yous for people who were crucial to my research journey. Dr. Curtis and Dr. Lee at San Francisco State helped guide my research in 2021. Dr. Bishop helped me revise my research through USF in 2025. And my spouse, Eric, has volunteered to help me revise my Spanish translations once I fully translated this to Spanish to make it more accessible. So with that, that is the end of my presentation. Thank you so much for listening. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me through my email that is posted here, my USF email. And you can also scan the QR codes to reach out to me through social media. Bye.